Today I'm going to talk about how long can a seller take to respond to your offer. And I'm going to get started right now. Hey everyone, my name is Jamey Prezzi. I'm a real estate agent in Miami and Miami Beach. And today I'm going to talk to you about a very popular question that I get all the time from our buyers. And the question is, how long can a seller take to respond to my offer? But first, before I get started with that, if this is your first time here, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss another update. I do put out new videos every single week. Also, in the information box, use the link to download my free relocation guide. I hope that you enjoy that, and I'll also add you to our weekly newsletter. Okay, let's get started. So right now we are working with a lot of buyers and we have a lot of offers out. And the big question that we always get is, how long does it take a seller to respond to my offer? Or how long can a seller take to respond to my offer? So I have two ways to answer this. First of all, the general rule of thumb in this area is about 2 days. Now, what actually determines how long a seller has to take to respond to your offer is what's written on the contract. So if it's important to you to get a fast response, make sure that a date is on the contract. Does a seller have to respond? That's a different question. And the answer is no. They don't have to respond. Maybe it's too low. Maybe it's not sort of the terms that they are interested in. Who knows? Maybe they're not very motivated. But just know that a seller is not obligated to respond to your offer. A few tips that I can give you in order to get a good response is make sure that you're putting together a complete offer package. And that not only includes the actual offer, but also proof of funds or pre-approval letter. And it's very important for us to have a really good rapport with the other agent. Me, as your buyer's agent, I need to make sure that I call and follow up. Let them know that I sent the offer, because sometimes emails go into spam, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, and maybe they thought they sent it and then they go check their draft box and they actually forgot to send it. So that's sort of how we start the process. The next thing to know is sometimes people do take time to respond. You know, some sellers are overseas, they don't work as fast as, you know, we want to work. Some people are on vacation. So I just like to have an idea about what is going on with the seller so that I can properly advise you on sort of a realistic time frame. Sometimes some sellers respond the same day. Sometimes they actually respond within the date that we put on the contract. Sometimes that date expires and then we hear back a few days later. If that date expires, we just have to bring the date back into compliance on the sales contract. But just know that it's not uncommon that that date expires and then we hear an answer later. It's important to get a complete idea, if we can, from the seller's agent, what's going on and what to expect, and then I will pass on that information to you. One thing that buyers often think is that even when they send in a very low offer, that a seller's obligated to respond, and they're not. They can ignore the offer, they can just say forget it. I know when I'm a seller's agent, sometimes we have these companies that come in and they just submit offers all over the city on everyone's listings, and they're really low. Generally speaking, most of my sellers never even respond to that because they're not interested, it's way too low, and they don't even want to waste their time. So if you're making a super low offer like that, just know that you will probably not get a response if it's not within today's market value. Also, you need to know, are you in a buyer's market or a seller's market? If you're in a seller's market, there's a very good chance that you could be competing with other buyers. If I know that there's other buyers lurking out there, I usually put a little bit shorter time frame to respond. I want the seller to know that you're serious, you are making an offer now, you want a response now, and you are ready to go right now. One thing I can tell you that will make your offer stand out is to make sure that, number one, you put together a very nice, clean offer. Also, proof of funds, pre-approval letter, whatever you're doing to purchase that property, show that you're able to do so. Very specific and timely dates for today's standards. And if you really love the house, don't lowball too low, because that will run a very good chance of not getting a response back from the seller. I can tell you, I know people like to negotiate. We all do. I love to get our buyers a great deal, but you really have to know what market that property is in, whether it's a seller's market or a buyer's market, so that you're putting in an offer that we know will get a response back, or at least sort of trigger some type of response. Because that's the other thing. There's nothing worse than putting in an offer and then never hearing anything back at all because the offer was way too low. Okay, I think that's it. If you have more questions, you can always reach out to me, and I will see you soon.